Happy Friday. It's recovery week like I've mentioned, and I thought it would be a good time to go up north and give this bad boy a spin. Time to get it winterized. So I'm gonna work on my kit and go for a quick spin up north to the town of Kelly and then hit a run. So we're gonna jump in the van and head up north. Let's roll. Cruising through Jackson, and the old Volkswagen van doesn't have a temperature thermometer, so let's see what the temperature is. Got the sun coming out. My phone said it was about 18 degrees when I left. Let's see what the bank temperature has to say. Here comes the sun. Shouldn't be too bad. We got 12 degrees here at 9 o'clock. 12 degrees. All right, we're headed north, headed to Kelly. Okay, just a couple miles north of Jackson Hole, the town, and it's a beautiful day. The sun's shining. It's going to be awesome. And so yesterday I kind of put out a video about how you can kind of test yourself with an exercise to see how your biomechanics are in running and just your overall athleticism and your movement. So today we're going to talk about speed and how there might be some things going on with you that might be helping you miss out on improving your speed and your ability to increase your speed. But we're entering Grand Teton National Park, and if you've never been to Jackson, this view never gets old. You just come up the hill and there she is, the Teton Range. So we're officially in Grand Teton National Park right now, and like I mentioned, headed to the town of Kelly and Mormon Row, Antelope Flats. Over there is the ski resort. You can see the snow. It's November 1 and a lot of snow. They'll plan to open by last week in November. So here's your official welcome to Grand Teton National Park, and got some people shooting shots. All right, let's head north. I'll see you at the parking lot. All right, here's our home base for today. I'm just gonna find a good spot. Finally, the van is warm enough, just enough to shut it off. So I'm gonna park in the sun here. What a day. Okay, here's the plan. I'm gonna get ready for a bike. I'm gonna do about an hour bike ride. This is Grand Teton National Park, Mormon Row. This is where some of the first settlers created their homesteads, and now is a historical site. So we'll cruise down there and I'll show you some of those homesteads. And then I'm gonna come back and do about a 30-minute run after the bike. And during that bike, or during the run, we're gonna do some demonstration to, again, like I mentioned, talk about speed. But first, two things I wanna cover. There's two ways to get speed. One is our cadence, and I've talked about this before in other videos, but first one is our cadence. So the quicker we move our feet, the more we can gain speed. Secondly, how we gain speed is our distance per stride. Obviously, the longer the stride, or the more importantly, the more the distance per stride, the faster we'll run. And we want to mesh those two. We want to mesh cadence with distance per stride. An important piece with the distance per stride, you still want to have good form. You don't want to reach out and heel strike to create longer distance. So meshing cadence with speed, or with distance per stride, is how you create more speed. And what we're going to talk about today is what might be going on with you that might be limiting your ability to improve your speed. Okay, so we'll have some diagnostic exercises, some diagnostic points and tips that I will provide that will help you see how proficient you can be with how your body moves to continue to improve your speed. So, all right, I'm gonna get ready for the bike and we're out of here. Let's go. It's not too bad. Always a little chilly at first, but with the big fat tires, you usually go pretty slow to stay warm. Got the nice long shadows of winter and the big peaks of the Grand Teton right there, all in snow. So we're still headed north. Let's roll. Coming up on one of the first homestead spots. It's a great shot. Ironically, this road and these homesteads are some of the most visited parts of Grand Teton National Park. And these barns are some of the most photographed barns in the world. So very popular place. All right, we're gonna head across the street, one last homestead, and get on with the ride. Morning. Can't believe there's hardly nobody here. Must be too cold for them. Again, Mormon Row. This was established, settled in the late 1800s. Here's the barn. Here's the most popular barn. And since I'm on a bike, I'm gonna get on this road and see what this is all about. I was wondering if I was supposed to be out here. This is on parkland, and usually they're not too friendly for bikes. But I didn't think about bear. But I think it's a good time to turn around anyways and do my loop. What a gorgeous day. Man, it doesn't get any better. Bear scat. Old bear scat. Frozen bear scat. Shouldn't have turned around. Fun! First winter ride of the season's in the legs. It's time to run. All right, back at the van. Just got back from a nice run. It's really nice and warm out now. And I'm actually going to now demonstrate some things that might be holding you back as far as progressing with your speed and fostering more speed and your length per stride, like we talked earlier, differentiating between cadence and gaining length per stride to gain your speed. So this might be holding you back. I'm going to set the camera down and do some demonstration that way on B-roll and then do some voiceover. I know it's not quite as personable, but I find that when demonstrating like this, it's a little bit more precise and a little bit more concise as far as the articulation of what might be going on. So have a look at this. And at the end, I'm going to throw in a video of an exercise again to help all of what we're talking about today, of taking stress off your hip flexor, stress off your IT band and your quad, and developing a better glute activity and better leg extension, which we're going to talk about right now. So, all right, have a look, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, when it comes to our stride length, we want to make sure we're utilizing our glute medius for stability right there. And this is one of the vicious cycles I see many runners with problems. They're not utilizing their glute medius in a proper stabilization manner. Therefore, we're using the hip flexors in front as stabilizers, but their job is just to lift the leg. So here's your diagnostic test. How well can you lift one knee as high as possible and keep your other leg straight, utilizing your glute for stability? Can you be in this position? Can you have that stamps leg straight, or are your hip flexors so tight because they're overused and you're keeping that leg bent. We want that leg straight, lift that knee as high as possible. This will show your ability for stride length, your ability for speed. And again, if the hip flexors get too tight from overuse, you're not going to be able to straighten that leg, and you're going to look more like that. Okay, reducing your stride lengths. So here's where it comes into running. So watch right there, see how straight that stance leg is, and my knee's driving high. One more time here. Right here's my ability for speed. I'm getting good hip extension, driving that knee high. And here's a wonderful exercise, skipping for height, to help get that get that leg extension and hip extension to improve your length per stride. Driving that knee up, good leg extension. Here it is again. Again, notice how my leg goes straight, my knee drives up. This is a great exercise to help develop that. And here it is again. Again, we want to use our glute medius for stability so our hips don't rock back and forth. And if we're not getting that for a variety of reasons, we're going to pull in the hip flexors for stability, which causes them to overwork and will be tight. Okay, so here's your test again, right there. Can you be in that position, or is your leg more bent? And that's going to, again, let you know how much you have the ability to improve your speed and stride length. Okay, tight hip flexor is going to impede that. So and with the tight hip flexors, your knee's going to go forward, and you're going to use your quads and your IT band and overuse them as well and get tight. So here it is. You look like that, or can you really extend that hip and get that leg extension? Okay, it's all about the hip flexor there. All right. So there you go. Like I said, that's just another simple test for you to kind of demonstrate where you're at. Do you have tight hip flexors? Are you overusing your quad and your IT band and losing glute activity, whether it's from another purpose of maybe you sit too much, or you have poor foot strike, because again, foot strike's going to really dictate our glute activity and stabilization, and maybe you just got to work on your form. But I'm going to end you with this exercise that you can try. Again, use the fit ball. The fit ball is there to really help you have awareness of what your hips are doing. So again, another great exercise as a diagnostic. The more challenging it is for you, the more you should do it. And again, it's the corrective exercise in itself. So have at it. Again, thanks again for coming, and we'll see you next time. Ciao. See ya. Okay, here's the fit ball lunge. So always do this barefoot. Start off with poles so you can really perfect the movement. You're driving the ball leg back, getting hip extension, and then coming up and extending that leg right there, just like we showed in the other videos. Okay, so use the poles as a way to progress. You can ditch the poles and just use your arms like you would be running. And then the next one would be to put your arms overhead or behind your head and try to perform this without poles and arms behind the head. And then if you're really looking for challenge and really taking it to the next level, you can use a stability disc similar to what I have here, or even maybe a Bosu with the blue side down. But this is I'm just on my forefoot here. And again, this is super challenging. And now again, the use of the ball really lets you know what your hips are doing. If the ball spins out to your side, you know you're not getting hip stability. Okay, so the ball, using this in the exercise, is allowing you to know what your hips are doing while you're running. Are they stable? Okay, and again, if the ball moves to the side, that means you're not getting a lot of stability. And again, this exercise in itself is the corrective exercise. So again, use this as a diagnostic. Go back to the first one with the barefoot on the floor and just see how well you can perform this, and then get better through time and progress and find a way to make it more challenging, taking away the poles or adding a stability disc for that stance leg. Okay, super challenging. You get a little moose action. You probably can't see it, but Nice moose. Nice moose. Happy Friday.